Talk, a show that has been designed to take up real issues of the real estate sector. It is a show that aims to educate and enlighten all the stakeholders of the business, where best of minds come together with diverse perspective. Issues are discussed threadbare to differentiate between the wants and needs of the sector. Real issues that are often missing in the cacophony of mainstream news media. Real Talk, the talk show by Track to Reality. Powered by Purvankara.
NRIs, non-resident Indians. They are more than 13 million in number, but are contributing more than $100 billion annually through remittances. But more than their contribution to the Indian GDP, that is nearly around 3%, they are contributing to the Indian real estate market in the range of 8 to 10%. Naturally, no developer can afford to ignore this critical buyer profile today. Almost all the leading developers have a dedicated set of NRI sales channel. In today's episode of Real Talk, we will discuss to what extent the Indian real estate sector is acknowledging the role of NRI buyers. More importantly, how are they aligning with the strategic shift in the NRI buying pattern today? I am Ravi and today I have with me Abhishek Kapoor, Group CEO, Purvankara Limited, Ravi Singh, Managing Director, Residential Transaction Services, Colliers India, and Ms. Rasmi Panikar, Executive Director, Land Services and Residential, Knight Frank, India. So, Ravi Shankar, I will start with you. Why is there so much focus on NRI buyers? Is there something more than just to remittances?
Good question, Ravi. And what I would like to do first is categorize who we are considering as NRIs over here. Now, India is a big talent pool when it comes to employing technical in the technical sector and the financial services sector. So a lot of these people have gone abroad on short-term projects, typically 4, 5, maximum 10 years. Now, these people have gone abroad with an intent of coming back to India in the long term. Because all these developed nations, they have become very stringent in offering citizenships to these people. Now, because they have to come back, they have this inherent need to upgrade their current lifestyle and have a place in India once they are back. So that is, I think, what is pushing the bulk of the demand for NRIs to invest in their home countries. So, I think that's where the percentage has gone up, especially after COVID. And with the price rise that we have seen in the last 2 years, this demand from this segment, we will see it going up further.
Rasmi ji, do you think that NRI buyers, they don't just bring money, they also bring certain level of brand reputation for the developers?
They do to a great extent. But I must tell you that as far as developers are concerned, they're very particular about their brand. They also have moved and seen projects around the world, and they want to offer world-class offerings to the customers. People from India and abroad, they have traveled widely, so they are aware of what the world has to offer. And NRIs also expect world-class amenities and bespoke experiences, as we speak. And in order to take care of that, you're finding developers appointing international architects, project management consultants, contractors, international property consultants, and facility managers, and providing end-to-end international services to ensure that a global experience for customers. And that, to a great extent, has also been actioned by the interest of NRIs, because there is a growing interest of NRIs in investing in real estate in India today. And you found that somewhere in 2014, we were, just about 5 to 6% of NRI investments in India, and it's gone really up to 15% today. and it's slated to be about 20% next year. And when I've been speaking to developers, I've found that this kind of range of NRIs, they are expecting them to grow, and hence they do add a lot of reputation and brand reputation to the developers and the projects, because a lot of these things go by word of mouth. And so a good experience for any NRI with a developer or a project goes a long way in improving the business for developers.
From a developer's perspective, Abhishek, when somebody says NRI buyers, how do you perceive it? Somebody who has got deep pockets or somebody who has specific requirements? How do you look at NRI buyers?
Ravi, see, the way we look as developers, it's a very large market segment that needs to be addressed. Purvankara was one of the first organizations, developers who opened an office in Dubai in possibly early 90s. And we had a fantastic run in the NRI market ever since. Now, I think the reason and our sense of NRI purchase in India is that it's a mixed bag. Earlier it was possibly a lot more the need of emotional need of safety. Today, I think they are one of the most astute buyers in the market. They understand the markets, and it's not that they are buying in one geography. What's very interesting is, and we are now in 9 cities, right, in West and in South. We're now looking at entering NCR. And if you look at the demand, single buyer is looking at multiple markets because they also do not know where they will go and settle. So they look at, say, okay, we'll buy one in Mumbai, we'll take one in also a position in NCR, and we'll take a position in Bangalore as well. And fortunately, the exchange rate and the multiplier of 80 helps, right? And also the fact that as the rupee has depreciated, their investments have also meaningfully appreciated. And when they come back, it's also a wealth creation and safety net and return, including rental yield. So it's a mixed bag of financial engineering in my mind that they are doing in India, assuming that at some point in time, they will look at meaningful. And also, I'll just add, we have also seen buyers who are not necessarily going to come back to India and are still buying in India, which is something which is a very interesting trend in my mind. As to that, basically, the way I look at it personally, I'm not sure if everybody looks at it like that, but I think that is more of the confidence in the economy and in the sector ever since RERA and all of those things have happened, where, you have only strong branded players where they are buying from. So those are key trends that we see as developers, and we see as the segment per se.
You have touched upon something very interesting, Ravi Shankarji. I will come to you on that. Do you think there has been a strategic shift in the NRI buying pattern, especially post-COVID?
Ravi, okay, pre-COVID, I would go way before pre-COVID, okay? When, taking money out of India was much easier. Now with, the restrictions of 250,000 per year, the NRIs are, as per me, not looking at India as an investment product. Okay. They are looking at India as an end-use product. And with the country developing the way it is, I see a lot of NRIs spending now a large portion of the year in India, especially from the US and UK when those harsh winters come in. I see a lot of people spending 3 to 4 months in India between November to February. So that investment pool is kind of out of India right now. It's more of end-use driven. And it's these people who have recently gone abroad in about last 5 to 10 years who are looking to buy in India for self-use. Once they return to India, they want to settle down, and bulk of the demand is getting, the bulk of the absorption is happening in cities which offer the best employment opportunities like Bombay, Pune, Bangalore. So these are the factors which is pulling in the demand from NRIs.
Rasmiji, you deal with a whole lot of developers.
Yes.
Do you think developers are now focusing more and more on the NRI buyers because, as you rightly said, that their contribution is now in double digits.
Yes.
So what are the shift in from developers side? Are they really focused on NRI buyers?
So developers will always look at a way to expand their customer base. And the NRIs form a very, very important part in it. And they see a greater possibility and potential for growth in the NRI business. And especially considering that India is doing really well. Real estate, residential transactions are at an all-time high. You're getting good rental opportunities. There's a compelling India story that helps in NRIs to invest in India. And hence, they do feel that it's important. And they do have separate desks and they provide end-to-end services because NRIs, today, you must understand that with AI technology, all of them are very well informed about projects. They're able to analyze details of properties. They can sit in the confines and the comfort of their home and look at, virtual tours of projects, etc. And they also know transactions which have happened, in the past, etc. So they can take an informed decision. The whole process is made as easy for them as possible by these developers. And hence, there is a great focus on expanding their sales teams, to NRIs all over the world, because they clearly see that there is a great potential for NRIs to further invest in India and raise those double digits, over the coming years. One is affordability, the gentry, and of course, they do believe that, by word of mouth, they can really improve the kind of customer database that they have, in foreign cities.
Abhishek, NRI buyers have global exposure. Obviously, their expectation level is a bit high. Do you think that's a challenge or it's a learning curve for you as a developer?
Look, I think industry has really evolved over the last 2 decades in the country. If you look at the quality of development that's happening today in the country, in many parts of the country, you will see projects which are absolutely as per international standards.
Yeah.
And I think that has come from also the experience of the developers who have traveled all over the world. They have gone, lived, also been on vacations, etc., to understanding that there is a certain target audience which expects a certain quality of living in the country. And that's not just because of NRIs, but also because the Indian citizens are traveling a lot more all over the world, and they are also getting the same experience. When they benchmark that improvement at an increasing scale in our country, of course, depending on the price point. I mean, if it is 100,000 rupees a square foot in Mumbai, you will see a lot more construction spend and a lot more happen there versus a 10,000 or 12,000 or a 15,000 square foot per square foot product in a Bangalore or a Chennai market, right? But what you will see definitely is a continuous improvement of product, bringing international quality of living and customer service to the country.
I agree.
Ravi Shankar ji, till a few years back, whenever we talked about NRI property buying in India, it was mostly confined to their hometowns, either for their own retirement or for their parental use. Now they are coming to cities like Mumbai, Bangalore, or even in North India, Chandigarh, Tri-City. Why this change? Are they planning to come back? Are they since their age profile is also getting younger now?
We are saying people are investing where the maximum employability and livability index are the highest. Okay, so unfortunately in India, it's about 6-7 cities only which offer these kind of benefits. So they will continue to see the maximum demand unless or until we develop more cities in time. Okay, the bulk of the demand, at least from the NRI segment, will be restricted to the top 6 cities in India.
Rasmi ji, we all understand there are global job uncertainties for NRIs now. Many of them want to set up entrepreneurship in this country. Is this also reflecting in their buying pattern? Are they also buying more and more commercial properties now?
Yes. So with favorable government policies like the introduction of REITs, SM REITs, etc., and the opportunity also to invest in various, you have the residential investments. You also have now fractional ownership, co-living, co-working spaces, etc. Yes, there are a lot of people who are planning to set up operations in India. With the global uncertainties, they are looking at spending some time in India and abroad, and they have multiple homes to ensure that they spread their risks. They are looking at cities with better connectivity, more cosmopolitan, where there are entrepreneurship hubs like Bangalore, and a greater quality of lifestyle. All of these are contributing to people coming back and staying here. And if you also realize that post-pandemic, one realized that you can actually do business out of anywhere. You really don't need to go to offices and have one-on-one meetings. And so people are trying to invest in real estate properties which are larger, in gated communities, which offer better quality lifestyle, where they can operate from and they can still commute to the cities, for one-on-one meetings, etc. And hence, you'll also find that these kind of investments, if they're also looking at the opportunity to lease them out to Airbnbs and all of that when they're not in town. And hence, that's also a revenue potential for them. So there are so many real estate opportunities, be it second homes, be it co-living spaces, student housing, REITs, etc., commercial properties, where they can invest lower amounts and be a part of this ownership, which has greatly contributed to the increasing NRI investment in India.
Abhishek, since NRIs are now shifting to, as Rasmi is saying, other emerging asset class, they are also shifting to commercial spaces. And the buyer profile, their investment remains the same. So do you think it will affect their residential purchase?
Actually, no, I'll tell you what. I mean, one of the nuanced things that happen, and we see it, we are also present in a market like Kochi, right? It's not one of the most economically active and bustling with great amount of investment. But if you see Kochi as a market or Kerala as a market, you will see that a large amount of buying happens because a lot of these guys work internationally in many of the Middle Eastern countries and other geographies. And their principle is that they will have one home for themselves and one for each of their children in Kerala, for example.
Yeah.
You look at a city like and it's not limited just to Kerala. I mean, you look at a city like a Jaipur or a Lucknow or a Kanpur or any of these cities, they have their communities there, and back home, if they're living in a Singapore or a Dubai or a Saudi, they will, buy one home in that market and keep for retirement. So that is one aspect of it. And of course, they will generate, as Reshmi rightly pointed out, Airbnb, rental, whatever. They will do a bunch of things to continue to get some yield out of it. Second thing which we see interesting is interest in plotted development. So as a residential player, we have also got a product in plotted, and we have seen increased buying in the plotted development because land clearly is a great investment opportunity. And over a period of time, the kind of appreciation people see in land is far more meaningful and significant. But having said that, I will still say that the demand for residential versus alternate assets are two different end uses from a NRI perspective, and they will continue to look at a very balanced portfolio approach, because what they are doing as an NRI is they are distributing their investments, some in stock markets in India, some in capital investments like residential homes, or in plotted developments for land for appreciation, or any of those alternate opportunities, or also in the country in which they are staying. So it's not that they are not buying there, they are buying there as well. So I think that's how they are distributing, and Indians are good saving community, unlike the West, where you spend most of your money. So we are low leverage, high saving, and lots of investments to do.
Ravi Shankarji, do you think there is a mismatch here, because affluent Indians are buying properties worldwide, and we are talking about NRIs buying property in India? Do you think there is some sort of mismatch over here?
No, there's no mismatch. The reasons for those purchases are completely different, Ravi. While Indians are buying in, NRIs are buying in India, that's, like I've said, it's an end-use investment for a future use. Whereas these affluent classes buying abroad, it's for a very different reason. Maybe most of that is driven by the need for a strong passport. Okay, because they want to travel freely around. A lot of these countries offer citizenships, when you make a minimum amount of investment, like Portugal and other countries. Okay, so bulk of that is, it's happening, that purchase is happening to get a stronger passport. Okay, or maybe their children are abroad and maybe they are global tycoons, which they want to have a house where it's easier to do business from. Okay, but then those are super affluent Indians. Okay, these are not average Indians we are talking about. I don't think average Indians are buying abroad. They're mostly, unless or until they're living there, they are going to be buying in India only. So I don't think there is any connect between the two.
And Rasmi ji, how far rupee's slide against dollar has helped NRI remittances into Indian property market?
Oh, it has greatly helped because for an NRI, one has witnessed over the past 10 years, there has been a depreciation of almost around 3% every year. And that has greatly helped an NRI to get more for what they have in terms of savings. So they're able to afford larger apartments, better properties, etc. And that's really played a key role in investing in India because they are getting more bang for the bucks, so to speak. So I do feel that it's played a very important role in their decision making to buy properties and one of the reasons being the rupee depreciation. It's greatly helped.
Abhishek, there is a general perception that property buying is a long-term commitment. Does this rupee dollar conversion really impact the serious buyers in the business?
Look, I think the way, and I've seen this with in close, proximity with some of the buyers who I've met in the past. Of course, they love to time the investment. They will wait for a little depreciation to send the money out and say, you know what, this is a great time to repatriate the money. This is a great time to, save some money on saving some interest or getting a discount from a developer for paying ahead, or they're very astute financial planners, and I think, and that's generally about Indians, but NRIs specifically. So they look at it very opportunistically. But having said that, I think they also know that these are longer term commitments. They come in prepared for those long term commitments. They've got a fairly robust plan in terms of allocating their money. So in that sense, I don't think it has any meaningful impact, but they are very opportunistic in terms of they may be sitting with $1 million and they would see an opportunity that, oh, the rupee's gone down to 85. Let's deploy some money right now and send in 100,000. So, that's how they would look at it very opportunistically.
Ravi Shankarji, there is a general perception that when it comes to NRI buying pattern, they are buying luxury properties. Do you think this is still a reality, or they are now buying across the segment?
It depends what you quantify as luxury, Ravi. Earlier, if you go by the government norms that are set, anything above 50 lakhs is luxury. But I think the market has evolved greatly. So I think bulk of the demand that's coming from, especially in Bangalore and Pune, is in the 1.5 to 2 crore price range from the NRIs. Yeah, but yes, there are some affluent NRIs who are picking up properties, which costs above 3 to 5 crores. And there is demand for premium properties from the NRI segment for sure, because like I've said, they're looking to spend at least 2-3 months in a year in India. If they are self-employed, or if they have older parents who want to come down to India in those harsher months. So depending on the individual across categories, there is demand. But if you see, bulk of the demand is in the 1.5 to 2 crore property.
Rasmi ji, how far the regulatory framework has boosted the confidence of the NRIs?
Well, it's amazing, Ravi, the way RERA has changed the way real estate is today. There is greater accountability, more transparency. There is more accountability on the part of developers to deliver. There are penalties to be paid. There is more information available, and there is penalty for non-performance. So all of these have really greatly boosted real estate sentiments for investment, not only for the NRIs, but also for the Indians. It has really grown a long way. These favorable policies like RERA, and then, they've also been very, very cognizant about when the market was down, they sort of gave a reduction in stamp duty and all of those. And GST, the introduction of GST, all of this has gone a real long way in helping the real estate industry. And I think RERA has been the best thing that's happened for both customers as well as developers, because there has been a consolidation, and it's only the people who are there in the long run, for the long haul, who have managed to survive this and improved their services and offerings and accountability. So in terms of information, your carpet area, the terms of your booking, all of that has undergone a sea change. And today you find a lot more customer confidence because of that.
Abhishek, so far we have discussed about incentives to the NRI buyers. Do you think there are certain disincentives also? Because whatever we say, market has improved, there is a lot more transparency, but taxation remains a worry.
So, I think one of the biggest challenges that NRIs face today, and we hear that regularly, is the transparency with which a customer is serviced by the developers. And even today, we hear that, a lot of NRI customers have those concerns which are still not addressed in terms of getting, while, yes, there has been a lot of improvement, but I think the expectation of service from these customers is very different than a customer who's got access locally. Every time they can't ask their relative to do, X, Y, and Z for themselves. They need that information flow to them in whether you look at construction updates or, payment updates or current balances or, in fact, even to the extent of services that they're looking at when you are handing over possession or when you're doing the registration. I think those are nuances that people look for. And second is, I think from the perspective of brands, what they're looking for is how transparently is a brand communicating with the customer. How well are they? Because we do have challenges. It's not that the sector has got no challenges, and we do come up with certain situations. And though it has improved, again, I'm saying meaningfully improved, but they always, so they look for that trust factor, which I think continues to elude, or elude them in a manner across the sector. So I think those are the concerns that they're still dealing with.
Ravi Shankarji, the same question with a very straight this thing. How far the recent indexation removal dented the confidence of the NRI buyers in the Indian property market?
The indexation benefit has been rolled back. Means it's been rolled back. Now they took it away, but indexation only applies to largely to ancestral properties. Okay. Apart from that, if you take that out, I think the new capital gain norms are pretty much investor friendly. They've reduced the rate down from 20% to 10%. They've reduced the period of the investment. So it largely favors if you're an investor per se. But the biggest challenge still remains is if you're investing in India in real estate with the intent of taking that money out of India, how do you do that? Okay, the regulatory framework in India does not allow for that. More than $250,000 a year. So that is the larger question the NRIs have today. It's not, I don't think they are much concerned about capital gains and other things.
Okay. Any specific advice that you would like to give to NRI buyers?
Go with reputed developers. Do your due diligence, have the right consultants guide you on your purchase. And India is a good market, and the economy is just going to grow further, and there'll be many more cities coming up. So yeah, good time to get your right home in India.
Rasmi ji, your advice to NRI buyers?
Well, I do agree with Ravi on the same. It's very important for you to do your due diligence and go with reputed players, do your homework well. And there is a compelling story that real estate in India has to offer, but go with your eyes wide open. We're still, in the upswing. We're still grappling with a lot of things of handling RERA and getting more and more organized. But at the end of it all, I do feel that it's a very positive move, and you should go for it.
Abhishek, the two panelists have already endorsed you when they say go for reputed developers. Still, what is your take? What kind of advice would you like to give to NRI buyers?
Look, Ravi, I think, my brother is an NRI. I know a lot of people who are in my family and they keep asking for advice. So my advice to them generally is the way you make your choice hierarchy is very important. And what is the purpose of your investment is very important. If it is, if you have that clarity and, you don't get into speculative buying, whenever you buy a home, buy with a backup that you may want to stay there. And then you evaluate that investment or that purchase. And the moment you have the safety and security of knowing that there is a potential end use, then you have a longer term thinking in that investment. And if you think long term, then you land up making a lot of appreciation in the real estate investment. And it's possibly the safest investments compared to, many other investment opportunities. I personally believe it because I think a lot of my family and I have made my wealth out of investing in real estate. So I keep advising them on saying that, you make your choice hierarchy very, very clear and don't get speculative about this and don't go with hearsay. I mean, right, like both of them said, do your own due diligence, do your ref checks. And I think that's very important to understand the market that you're investing in.
There are very few discussions where all the stakeholders agree to agree. NRI's investment in Indian property market has been one such subject. We all have agreed that India is a very lucrative market for the NRIs. And the hard facts, the remittances, statistics suggest that there is an increasing interest of NRI in the Indian property market. The larger question is, what are the gray areas that they should keep in mind? I think most of the developers have now started a dedicated sales channel for the NRIs, and they are guiding the serious NRI home buyers. This is just the beginning, and there is a lot more potential for the NRIs to invest in the Indian property market. This has really been a very insightful discussion, and I thank all of you for this. Thank you.
Thank you, Ravi. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.